chart. I've shown various versions of this pie chart of how we divvy up the available HNT. This is an example based on a miner that produces 100 helium tokens, whether it's a week, a month, or 2 months, 3 months, it doesn't matter. Let's just say for the purposes of simplicity that it produces 100 helium tokens in a calendar month. Where does those tokens go? Now, just kind of prefacing this, for people that may be on this call that really haven't been exposed to what we're talking about here, there are various options within the Helium community at large. Okay, what is the Helium community? Helium is a company that's creating this peer-to-peer network. They created the blockchain. They created the first manufacturing run of a Helium hotspot that produces Helium tokens as proof of coverage for this worldwide Internet of Things onboarding process that's being created. And then once they built that and they did their initial manufacturing run, they turned over to the community the actual building of the network. Okay, their focus is maintaining the blockchain and working with the IoT manufacturers, use cases, and things in that all around the world of driving all that activity to using the network that is being built. Okay, so I don't have this animated right now, so let me just kind of go through it. Now, we've got two structures that we're running simultaneously, okay? What you're seeing right here is a new structure for the free deployed units, which we do not do right now. We won't be doing it for probably another 30 days or so, but I want people to understand where things are. It'd probably be apropos if I were to show you side by side the way it currently is with the paid for units versus where the deployed units are, but I don't have that. Hold on, maybe I do. Let me stop sharing for a second here, guys. Let me bring that up if I can, because I do think that's a good start. Now that I do it, I apologize that I should have thought this through, but this was just kind of an aspiration I had just before we began here. So let me. Okay, let me share the screen here. Apologize for the slight delay. Okay. All right. So you probably remember this. Okay. I've shown it for those of you that have been around for a period of time. You've seen that what we've done initially in our affiliate model, in the traditional Helium community, there are a lot of people actually are part of hosting programs similar to what we're putting on, but only similar in the effect that they're hosting some other company's units. What we put together that we're going to be sharing, that I started showing you in that last pie chart, is by far light years ahead of what anybody else is doing. But there are a significant portion of people in the Helium community that purchase their units outright. They get 100% of what their unit generates, but they have zero opportunity to share the information, to refer individuals, to make any commission, to get any incentive to share it other than, hey, thank you very much, kind of like telling somebody about a good movie. And that's okay. That's fine to do that, okay? But generally, when it comes to making things happen, that's what gets rewarded, gets done. And what we're doing is we're rewarding people for sharing this information on a large scale with people around the world to build this network and for us mutually to be able to benefit in doing it. So in our paid for model, again, our paid for model was really what we call iHUB 1.0. We no longer have the opportunity, except for in just very tail end cases of what we're calling VIP purchases that are at the very tail end of that possibility. But moving forward from this point, nobody can purchase a unit, okay? All the units moving forward will be part of what we call our free deployment model, which we're talking about as iHUB 2.0. But frankly, we want to move to just talking about iHUB as soon as we deploy that. But we're kind of in transition, okay? We've got people that are in the process of receiving, in many cases after several months of waiting for their purchased units. those purchase units will always be receiving the benefits of the compensation plan that I'm going to show here right now. So the person that purchased that unit gets 50% of what that unit generates. The person that referred them gets 10%. There's 5% codes, bronze, silver, and gold. There's 5% that's used to cover the cost of the matching bonuses on the pro team. And then we have 20% that goes to iHUB and its partners. And I want to just kind of give everybody a sense of how we've evolved as a company, because look, we're all in this together. I mean, Chuck and John and Rick and I, founders of iHUB, we put together iHUB because we saw how incredible this Helium opportunity is, and we wanted to personally take advantage of it for ourselves. And then as we got the possibility of creating a referral program for ourselves and for people that wanted to participate with us, it evolved. But initially it was going to be what we call a project meaning that we would be kind of like a distributor for another company. And all we were going to do is we were going to educate and train on people. And we were going to be the recipients of whatever the commission structure was that they put together that maybe we had some sort of influence on. That was the way we got started on it. You know, we were all very busy in multiple things. If we started out this thing saying, hey, we were going to put together a major corporation that requires all the infrastructure and all the requirements of that, it's hard to say whether we ever would have consciously embarked on that. But it didn't start that way. It evolved into this point. And so the early structure that we did this, none of us are on salary. None of us are making money from the company's profits. You know, we put the focus of the company is what we can do to run the company to make all this happen. And we put as much as we possibly can into the commission structure. And then we participate in that just like any other person as a function of building the commission structure by building an organization of iHUB affiliates. I want that to be very clear so that you understand exactly where we're coming from on that. And so this is the way we did it before. We've gone through the training. We went through this last week, basically, essentially based on what we're talking about here. So now let's talk about where we are going, okay, so that you have this sense of where we're going. So now we're not having people purchase units, okay? Why do we not have people want to purchase units? And why do we not want people to purchase units? For several reasons. Number one, because of the dramatic shortage of units that are out there, we if everybody that's in right now, we've got 50,000 affiliates. If every 50,000 affiliate purchased a unit, we wouldn't be able to provide that right now. So we're having to have intelligence to know where's the best place to put the units we have. We have purchase orders in hand right now for 130,000 units to move us forward, to carry us through the end of the year and into the beginning of next year. And that doesn't mean we won't be able to get more on top of that. We will. But we'll be at 100,000 affiliates probably in the next couple of months at the rate things are going right now. So our goal is to build the affiliate network. Our goal is to build the iHUB or the Helium hotspot through iHUB Miner Network. And the goal is to get units in the very most profitable locations, because at the end of the day, that makes everybody a lot more money. So here's what we've done. And there's other reasons for the longevity and the protection of the company for ourselves, every one of us and our families. We want this to be generational income. Helium has got a 50-year model that they've put out there as far as how the mining operations are going to go, the flow of the Helium tokens created through this whole process. We got 3 to 5 years essentially to build this network. And then for the next 45 years or whatever, to be the recipients of that for ourselves and for our family members being the recipients of it as time progresses. Okay, so we got the opportunity. We've gone to the hosted program so that we can be able to be in a position right now to bring in investors and purchase large purchase orders of units so that we can be able to access the available supply chain that's available. We started off in this program where we were having people purchase onesie, twosies, or whatever directly from CalChip, and we were at the bottom of the food chain, okay? We had no control over when those units would be shipped. We moved on to starting to do our own purchase orders, and then we started moving up the food chain in order to be able to access supply chain at the manufacturing levels through our partner CalChip. And now we're very high in that level and able to lock in large amounts of it, which also means that the people lower in that food chain don't have the access, right? So we're essentially pulling a little bit of oxygen out of the room for some of the other operations out there. And we want to make sure that if people try to attack us in order to, get that supply chain freed up for themselves, that we have no vulnerabilities to do that. So we're taking a lot of very, very smart, forward-thinking processes and protections for the company, and it all ties together in what we're doing. So I want people to understand that we are doing this for our mutual benefits. This is not some sense of, iHUB just wants to make as much money as they can on this. That's not the truth. We're putting as much out in the field as we possibly can. So here's the changes, okay? The changes is instead of 50% going to the owner, we no longer have an owner. iHUB is the owner, okay? So we now have 25% essentially going to the host, the new deployed host that's going on. What do we do? Where did the 50% go? 25% goes to the host instead of to the owner. Another 10% goes into the referrer. The referrer was 10%. Now it's an additional 10%. And I'll explain all this in a little bit, okay? The other 15% that wasn't there before. So again, remember we had 50% going to the owner. We've accounted for 35% of it. The other 15% that you see there on the 11 o'clock quadrant there on the pie chart is going to iHUB Global, okay? And its investors and partners. It used to be 20%, now it's 35%, because we have to have the investors and provide a return on their investment. And more importantly, because now we are in a much stronger position, forced to be in a strong position as a corporation, going through the regulatory requirements of bringing in investors, it means that our balance sheets, our business model, our corporate financial projections have to match the aspirations of other corporations, which means that the company needs to make money because investors want to know that the company is solid, stable, and is going to be around long enough for them to get a return on their investments and that sort of thing. So before we were trying to run the company as lean as possible and put as much as we could in the compensation plan. Then, now we have to make sure that this is, what looks good for balance sheets, for regulatory authorities and investors and that sort of thing. And the bottom line is it's the reality is we have to hire employees. We have to have infrastructure, all those things that we were doing ourselves that are not scalable. Okay. Now I want to put this in perspective before I go into the training of the details of this, because I want people to understand where we're coming from on this, because if you look at other direct sales companies, other types of networking companies, I've run my own direct sales companies, and I will tell you that if you've got a good or service that costs $100, typically what you can put in a commission structure is somewhere between 35 and 40%. That's typical. Most companies have to at least net at least 10% after all the costs are paid in order for the company to be able to exist, okay? And so 35 to 40% is typical. In this compensation strategy that we're talking about right here, we are paying out 65%. 65%. That's the highest out of any company I've ever been part of. And the only reason we're able to do it is because of the way we've structured this. So I just want to give you the background on that. And with that said, let's go to the details of the comp plan. Does anybody have any questions on this portion of it before I go and start going over the details? Don't ask questions about the details. That's what we're getting to cover. But I just want people to ask questions if they have any thoughts about what I'm saying or trying to get clarification on what I'm saying, because it is so critically important. So any questions on that before we move forward? If you have a question, unmute yourself or raise your hand. CK, you got your hand up. If you had a question, you put it down. Probably it's not a question for what I'm saying. If anybody has a question,
No.
click reactions.
It's
You can raise
thumbs
your
up.
hand. I'm sorry.
It's a thumbs up. I did not have a question.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so hey, look, you know, if you're digesting what I said, that's fine. You know, we don't have to carry on. I just want people to understand how incredibly transparent we're trying to be with this whole project, because the whole reason we're doing this project is the same reason all of you are involved in the project. We're doing this together. It's not some kind of typical company field type of arrangement that so many of us who have been around the block for years in this direct selling and networking industry have had to deal with companies where there was an us and them mentality. This is a we mentality. We are all partners in this together. Okay. And that is the way we look at it. It's the way everything is evaluated and decided on. And that is not just lip service. So I hope people appreciate, me sharing this kind of information, because being on the other side of it, which I've been for so many times, I want to know what the realities are here. Okay. So let's go ahead and share what Chuck shared last night, if you weren't on that call. I just need to find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the new compensation plan that, again, just to reiterate, for all of you that have purchased units, the comp plan does not change. It's exactly the same. We will be running two compensation plans simultaneously based on the unit, whether it is a purchased unit or whether it is a iHUB deployed unit. Does everybody understand that? Any questions on that? So there'll be no changes for what we've been showing relative to those units. Okay. There's a couple of questions in the chat. Hold on a second. Let me see. Okay, these are questions that I will answer, but not yet. Okay. All right. So let's go through this. So this is our affiliate program. Okay. The host commission goes between 15 to 25%. How does that work? Okay. So again, we've all seen this on the presentations, that we've created a unit specifically designed in order to be able to pay this, to be able to do the distribution of the helium that's created in a miner. So somebody becomes a deployed unit. Right now in our current program, somebody purchases a unit. They set up a host. That host gets 10%. They have the option of, if the owner is willing to sell them their unit, they can buy that unit if the owner is willing to sell. That's our current situation. It remains our current situation for the purchased units. So the host gets 10%. Now in the deployed model, the host gets 15% to begin with for a 90-day period. Why is it a 90-day period? Because on our investor model, we have to accelerate the amount that they get early on to give them an initial return on their investment and then a long-term residual to do that. That's all part of what's necessary to bring in major investors that are basically paying for the units. They're not investing in iHUB. Okay. They're not equity players in iHUB. They are investing in units that we are deploying through our model. Okay. How does it go from 15 to 25%? It goes to 25% when the host sends out 5 free assessments that they get. 5 free assessments that they get. And as you'll see, they're being assisted in that process by their referrer. Now, why are we doing this? Why is it so important? Because we want our hosts to be affiliates. We want them to, if not initially, to understand the value of sharing this information, spreading the good news, so to speak, and participating in becoming an affiliate, sharing this information. Is it required they do it? No. They can stay at 15%. It's totally fine if they want to do that. Okay. But let me move on, and then I'll get back to that 10% increase that moves them from 15 to 25%. Okay. There's some background noise in there. If Nick, if you can go ahead and mute them, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so let's take a look at the affiliate plan. So you all know, or maybe you don't, but in our iHUB affiliate program, we have 4 discrete teams of people. If you're coming out of a network marketing company, that's an unusual proposition. In network marketing and direct sales companies and most companies I've ever been involved in, there is one team of people, and people can get different rank advancements. They can do different qualifications. They can move throughout the teams based on various activities. That's not the case here in iHUB. We're not a multi-level marketing program. Okay. So sometimes it's better when you're talking to people that don't have experience in network marketing like myself. I mean, I write compensation plans. I'm kind of an expert in that. And frankly, it took me a while to essentially remove my previous experience so that I could look at this with fresh eyes to understand the hows and whys of the way this worked, because I was involved in helping actually get this program. And I needed to understand it intricately in order to be able to work with the programmers to get the results that we actually intend to get. Okay, so we got 4 teams: pro team, bronze team, silver team, gold team. Okay, so how does all this work? Well, the pro team is based on your first 5 individuals, and you get the ability to earn up to 20% referral commission. It starts off at 10, just like it did in the previous compensation plan, where if you enrolled somebody in the iHUB, you got 10% of what their unit generated. Now you've got the ability in the free deployment program to get an additional 10%, to double what you're earning by assisting that host to get those 5 assessments done. So the combination of you, who are really the mentor of the host, and all the work is involved in finding the host. So there's a lot of work involved in finding people to be the host, help getting them set up, to train them on that, work with them, maybe get an antenna set up, whatever needs to be done. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the work is done in getting the host, getting those addresses, doing all that kind of work. And so that is the leading edge of the business, the way we consider it. That's a brand new person from day one has the opportunity of getting 20% by helping that host get their 5 assessments in. And those 5 assessments don't necessarily need to yield to any outcome. It's great if those 5 assessments lead to 5 affiliates joining your host. Now you're building your team, because in the affiliate program, through the deployed program, any host that receives a unit automatically becomes an active leg towards those 4 teams. In the original program, the host does not become an active lead towards those 4 teams until they converted from being a host to purchasing a unit. So this is going to move much, much faster in this regard and move people into a lot more money, as you'll see. So the 20% referral, your first 5 personally active affiliates, which is your pro team, and then you got those 5 people. And now the next team is your bronze team. You bring in your 5 first teams are your pro team. The next 10 are your bronze team. You get that 10 to 20%. It really should say 10 to 20%, but it's going to be pretty much 20% for anybody that doesn't take advantage of that. I'm sure people on their team will assist them to help do that. Okay. So that referral commission, you get that, but additionally on your bronze team, you now pick up that 5% bronze code. Okay. So this is kind of the way it looks. So you get a total of 25% on your personally enrolled affiliates that you brought in, deployed units. Okay. You're getting the 20% referral plus the 5% bronze code. The next 10 are your silver team. Okay. You're getting the 20% referral plus, we say 10% silver code, but the reality is there are 2 codes. It's a 5% bronze code and a 5% silver code, as I trained it last week. That's really the way it's programmed. but it's a little bit more difficult to explain. Okay. And then as you move forward in your silver team, basically you've got the bronze team, you've got the silver team, and that kind of gives you the overview of that. Now we move on in terms of your gold team, it's the same 20%, but now you're getting the 3 5% codes for a total of 15%, the bronze, silver, and gold code. And what you're seeing there is essentially, let's just look at this as a summary of what's happening there. You've got your 20% referrals on the pro team. You got the bronze team at essentially now at 25%. And I just want you to have a little bit of perspective. As we've been showing the compensation plan on every presentation we've been doing up until now, we've been telling people how they can start off getting 10% on their referrals on their pro team, how they can get 15% on their bronze team, 20% on their silver team, and 25% on their gold team. We now, on the people you're personally referring, have increased it now from 10 to 20, from 15 to 25, which now at the bronze level on those, beginning with your 6th person, you're able to earn the same rewards that before you had to wait until you were a gold to obtain. So now it's 25% at bronze, it's 30 at silver, and 35 at gold. It's an enormous increase in money that, based on what Chuck showed in the presentation last night, it can be as much as $180,000 a year, which is a lot more than, I think we were talking about it being around 101 or something along those lines. So the last thing I want to show is a couple of interesting points that maybe just seeing this visual will give you a sense about it. We talk a lot about this being an affiliate program and not an MLM program. There's a lot of specific nuances to that determine the category that's in. One of the big deals is that in MLM, you typically have to do something to qualify for a certain paycheck, and then you have to constantly do something to be able to requalify over and over again, constantly people having to come out of pocket to do it. We don't have people coming out of pocket to get involved. We don't have people coming out of pocket to get a unit. We don't have people having to requalify for anything. Very, very different in what we've got here. Plus, in network marketing, when I say that generally it's 30 to 40% of what's going on, you've got a huge number of people sharing in those bonuses, getting tiny fractional percentage slivers of different part of those bonuses. And typically it requires a network marketing to have large numbers of people, thousands and thousands of people, in order to get the kind of earnings that we talk about that's possible with just sharing with 35 people that we've been doing on the presentations. I can't emphasize enough how radically that different is from anything anybody has ever seen in multi-level marketing. But there's also something very important that has to do with the number of levels. An affiliate program typically has 2 levels that you're getting paid on. And let me show you how we're an affiliate program. Okay. So you've got your 25% on your personals, and now you're getting the bronze code on people. But what happens is the first 5 people of everybody on your bronze team, their pro teams, all the people that's descending from that, as I've shown, essentially roll up to your front line so that you've only got 1 level of bronze code that you're getting. It's just that forever, the people who bring in their 5 people, that's basically frontline to you. That's frontline to you. The people that they bring in, it's a similar kind of thing. People they bring, it all rolls up, frontline to you, frontline to you. And at the end of the day, that 5% bronze code you get is on your direct frontline bronze code affiliates, 1 level. Okay. The same is true when you get down to silver and gold and all that. It's a 1 level payout by the way it works. 1 level, only 1 person getting the 5% bronze code, the 5% silver code, the 5% gold code, but 1 person can get more than one of those codes, as we talk about in the way things work on here. I'm going to just transition past this and just show you one last thing. Let me just go past gold because it's basically reiterating the same concept at each one of these levels, just to get to the one last thing. And that is reminding you that on those first 5 people in your pro team, you're eligible to get up to a 25% code match. That's based on where you are in your building your teams. If you're still building your pro team, meaning that you're still working with the first 5 people, you get a 10% match on the codes that those personal 5 people in your pro team get. And I'll cover that. I'll go back to that with another slide from my other presentation. Once you start building your bronze team that begins the minute you get your 6th person now that is an active person, an active affiliate on your 6th position, you begin building your bronze team. Your match on your pro team codes immediately goes from that point forward from 10% to 15%. When you get to your 16th person, okay, the first person of your silver team, it goes to 20%. And when you get to the 26th person, the first person of your gold team, that match goes up to 25%, the max. So that's what controls whether you're getting 10, 15, 20, or 25%. But it's on the same people, the people you personally enrolled on that pro team code. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this. And while I'm transitioning to the other presentation, just to reiterate that before we go into other questions, does anybody have any questions related to the compensation plan? If you want to unmute yourself, go ahead and do that. If you can be, you can raise your hand if you want to, or, if we don't have too many people all at once, then you can just unmute yourself and ask. Now, I've either...
Hi, this is David Koenig. How are you?
Hey, David.
I have about 1,000 affiliates right now signed up.
Okay.
And I have a question for you. I'm just curious how you guys think that we should... I signed them up with them thinking that they were getting 40% on their unit. And of course, this changed big time. So now I need a way to explain to my 1,000 affiliates how they're only going to get 25%. And I get it. I have to try to get them to see it more as an affiliate opportunity now. But is that what you guys were going for with this?
Yes. This is an affiliate opportunity. We're not looking for people temporarily to get a Helium miner through iHUB because we have units. Okay, we want affiliates. That's our goal. That's what we want to do. And the people that don't want to do that, that's fine. They can get it elsewhere, right?
No, exactly. So I should definitely I'm just building how I'm trying to get them in. And I guess I can't really do anything until the Helium track software goes live. But once it goes live, my goal is to walk every single one of them through getting using their 5 credits. And do they have to actually sign up 5?
No, they don't. They just need to go through the exercise to understand what's possible. That's all we want to do is introduce them to the concept, but we're not expecting any particular outcome. Now, if their referrer is a good referrer, right? And working with them, the referrer is going to want to help them actually begin to build their affiliate network, and it's going to assist them to get the very best results from those 5 assessments that they can get, because the referrer has more knowledge and understanding than the host. And so what we find, and we found in every one of our hosts, almost 100% of our hosts that we've been doing, is that the minute they really understand what this is all about, they become affiliates. And so it's not a foreign concept. We're not having to force anybody to do it, to manipulate anybody to do it. It's the natural progression of the realization of what's actually available through this program. And it's much, much bigger once people understand what it's about. And that's what's going to happen with the 1,000 people that you're working with. They're going to understand how much bigger it is. But the easiest way for them to understand that is strictly to look at just a simple way of doing it. That's what we show on the presentation. I'm just trying to find it. Let me go ahead and bring up this.
No,
slide.
and I just got one last question. I completely get that, and actually I've worked out some ways that everybody is super interested that we've talked to. So my only question, and if I have 1,000 people, of course I've gotten into the gold tier for everything over 35.
Actually,
if
over
I
25.
sign somebody up 25. So if I have somebody that is a huge marketing guy, I actually just brought one on, he's amazing. And last night we did a Zoom for about 100 people under him. Now, that's one level down. Now, if those people sign up 100 people each, do I see any matching bonus on the third, on the next level of affiliate? Should I be working with him to get more people? How do I benefit?
That's a good transition. Let me go into that portion of the plan. Okay. And just so that you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. Let me see how I want to do this. Let me start here. Okay. Okay. So it's no requirement to own or host one of your own units. There's no requirement for anything in order to get paid all the affiliate portions of the comp plan. So somebody comes into iHUB for free. They bring in their first 5 people. Those first 5 people are active affiliates, which means that somebody anywhere, either themselves or anywhere on their entire team, regardless of how many people are in their team, have gotten a unit, whether it's a free unit or a deployed or a purchased unit, it doesn't matter, but they got a unit that is active on the blockchain. That makes them active, that fills in the first slot from left to right. It's been challenging for a lot of us, myself included, because of the supply chain issues where there was such a lag time between sharing somebody with this and getting their unit. But I can tell you, as we move in to the rollout of our deployed program, because of now our ability to lock in large numbers of units, it's going to be a rapid shift. People will get the deployed units. There'll be active legs. Things are going to happen much, much quicker than we've been experiencing up to now. And that's part of moving from pre-launch to launch. Okay. We've always said that our intent was to move into launch sometime before the month of August was over. And I think that's probably accurate. Okay. So you bring in the first 5, you're getting 10%, now 10% up to 20% of their unit. Okay. In doing that. Once you begin with your 6th person, you now are beginning to build your bronze team. You do get a matching bonus on those first 5, but I'll cover that in the next slide. And so on your bronze team, everybody, as if they start duplicating, and not everybody is going to do this. Some people are going to just be content with having a unit and that's it. Okay. And, and that's all right. We're not saying don't bring in people along those lines, but we want people to resonate with what we're doing because we know that that's going to be in everybody's best interest. And so we incentivize them to do it because they make a lot more money doing it than just having their own unit. Okay. So everybody's pro team, everybody's first 5 people, forever unlimited depth. You get that 5% bronze code for that, for all 10 of your bronze code members that you start off. Remember, you got 5 on your pro team, 10 potential on your bronze team, 10 potential on your silver team, and an unlimited number on your gold team. Okay. So this is the slide where I want to show you. So on that pro team, you're getting 10% on their personal hubs. Now it's 10 to 20, and you're getting a 10 to 25% matching bonus on the pro team codes, the codes that your personally sponsored pro team get. And I'll share with you the next slide that goes into that a little bit more. Okay, so I'm seeing that people have their hands raised. Let me see, how do I do that? Let me open this. So if you got questions about what we're specifically talking about, Moses, you got your hand raised. If you want to unmute yourself to ask a question, go ahead.
Hey, Michael, I just want to thank you. This is David again. So just one last thing. with 1,000 people on the team, I'm actually getting a bonus on every single one of the people that show up in my back office that says they're on my team. So if I have 10,000 people in there, I would get a bonus on every single one of those people. And most of them are going to be in my gold team.
Well, yeah, but let's be real precise about that so that you're not, that you understand how it's going. So just hang with me on that and we'll get back to your particular scenario. And by the way, if any of you out there know somebody like David, okay, David is a poster child for who you want on your pro team. Okay, just so you know what it looks like for somebody that if you could wave a magic wand and they would be on your pro team, it would be David. Okay. So, all right. So let me continue. Moses, did you have a question that you want to ask?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I greet the house. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm actually calling from Nigeria. I think I'm one of the first people who registered with Kelvin yesterday. I signed up. So far, on my team, I've been able to sign up to like almost 100 persons. I'm still growing.
Okay,
but
awesome.
Yes, but I've noticed that the project is not in Africa like that. It's not in Nigeria, and when we're trying to put our address. Sorry, we're trying to put address. We don't even see our state. We get the city. The state is not there. Put in no state. So is there no place for Africa or for Nigerians? It's just
well, Moses, can we circle back to this question after we finish the comp plan? I just want to get through this portion of it right now. And that's a great question. And then I'll explain precisely the strategy you should be taking. Is that okay?
Thank you. It's okay.
Okay. Don't let me forget. Okay. And Stacy, you got your hand up. I'm going to leave your hand up, Moses, so I get back to you. Stacy.
Yes. Yeah, actually, this is Brandon. My phone died, so I picked my wife's phone up so I could join back in. Can you hear me, Michael?
I can indeed.
Okay, so I guess one of my questions is, and David is a team member with me, and we're trying to build this team together. And I guess my biggest question is, we've been saying how the 40% and it goes to the 25, but how is it going to change again? I guess that's my biggest fear is that, there's this ambiguity of these comp plans changing, and how can we instill
we have no anticipation of it ever changing again. We had a major change from iHUB 1.0 to iHUB 2.0. When we first looked at it, we looked at it like, okay, we want to keep the 2.0 looking as much as this first one as possible. But it was premature to announce that. We just were talking about it in the beginning. Rick mentioned that he thought it would be 40%. I jumped onto that. I started using that. But we had an advisory board call after that announcement, and we had very wise people share with us strategies that led to where it is today, and we've evolved to that. So other than that, there's no reason we would ever change again unless, it made something that was a very, very big reason for doing it. So if you were in that 40% transition period, which was really a short period and an ambiguous period, painfully, mainly because Rick got really sick for a week and we weren't able to announce it until it was a done deal. And we had to run it by things past our attorneys and all that. It took a little bit of time to get it nailed in. I do apologize for that ambiguous period, but it's not congruent with what we've been doing for the last 7 months that we've been doing this. Okay. And it is not predictive of the future. Okay.
I think my last question that I have is the back office being able to actually see and give us the tools to help our affiliates that sign up underneath us.
Okay. I'm sorry. Your name again is, did you say Brad?
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get back to that as a non-compensation plan question. I don't want people's filters now to go back and forget what we're talking about. Trevor, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I'm here. So just quickly, I've got a question on the pro team and the 5 assessments. Do you want me to ask that later?
Yeah, let's do that after the fact, because that is still a process in development in terms of how that's actually going to look and how that's actually going to occur.
But the other thing, if I can just say, Michael, the other thing
hold on for a second, guys. We got a lot of noise. Let me see if I can figure out how to. I'm going to go ahead and just mute everybody. Trevor,
I'll come back.
Mute again. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the other quick thing on the guy that was just speaking, it's a great point. The way I see it, we're giving up 10% of one unit to earn an extra 10% of 1,000 units. So it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
It is. And I appreciate your perspective on that because of where you've been coming from in this industry. People that understand that, we understand the power of leverage. And it's a no-brainer. It goes back to the old example of what's better. If I were to offer you a penny a day doubled for 30 days or a $10,000 check, which would you rather get? And most people will get to take the $10,000, but the penny doubled over 30 days ends up being in the millions. And that's the concept of leverage that, frankly, most people just don't have the awareness of that. And that's part of what we do, educating people in the possibilities here. So let's get back to this, because I know time is of the essence. And by the way, guys, I've got extra time today, so I don't have a hard stop in 7 minutes like I do in other cases. So I'm willing to keep on going, another 30 minutes to get your questions answered. But I do want to get past this compensation plan. So let's continue.
And Michael, while you're on the compensation plan, this is David again, just make sure you explain how the people get into the different plans. So if you have somebody with 1,000, how do you get them in the best plan? Or is it completely random?
Okay, that's a good question. There's a certain amount of randomness to it. It's not but there is a little bit of strategy that you can do, and I will try and cover some of that. It's an important thing to do. That's generally something that we do at a little bit higher level, but let me see what I can do to incorporate at least some of that here. Okay, so on the bronze team, the first 5 to infinity, you're getting a 5% code on. Okay. So just to be clear, there's a separate comp plan for your pro team, a separate comp plan for your bronze team. The pro team, it's 10% on their personal units, 10 to 20% now. And then you get a matching bonus on the codes that those 5 people are able to achieve. And I'll touch on that in a minute here. And then as you move forward at silver, you're getting 10% on those first 5 to infinity, just like you did on bronze. But now you're getting the ability to earn past the first 5 on the silver. You're basically now earning on everybody's first 5 and their next 10, which is essentially their bronze teams. So I could change this to, instead of saying your bronze team, you're earning 5% on everybody on your bronze team's pro teams. Okay, your pro team and their pro teams. But once these 10 people on your bronze team, once they get to their own 6th person, they now begin building their own bronze team. They now are moved from here, so when these people are building this team, you're getting that 5% on everything that's happening from this team. Everybody's building their own teams. Now, when these 10 people that you personally enrolled begin building their own bronze team, just like you, they're now getting the 5% on their people's pro teams, okay? But as a silver now, when you've got this new team, you're getting both the 5% bronze and silver on your 16 through 25 people's pro teams. And as they get to building their bronze teams, they now are getting the 5% code, but you still get the 5% silver code to infinity on everybody there. And then very similar to that at gold, and David, this really speaks to how powerful gold is. You're getting 15% to infinity on everybody's pro team. everybody that from your 26 person on to, let's say, 975 people that you've got on your gold team, you would be getting 15% to infinity. You're getting 35% with that new 10% in there when we add that here on the top, but 15% to infinity on all of those people's pro team and everybody's pro team that spawns out of that. On everybody's bronze team, on that, you're getting 10%, 5 plus the 5% silver plus the 5% gold to infinity. And then on the everybody's silver team, you're getting that 5% gold. However, once somebody on your personally enrolled person becomes a gold themselves, you are no longer earning anything off of what they've got. You're earning the people's direct units like you did, that we showed the 35%. If you help them with their 5 assessments, but when it comes to their team duplicating, you're essentially earning on everybody's first 25 people to infinity. In those first 25, in the first 25 people, the people you personally enroll on your gold team forever, which is extraordinarily powerful. And trust me, the numbers are off the charts, big time, okay? But that's why having somebody like David on your pro team is such a good place for them to be, because you will get the matching bonus on all of those people. Let's use an example. First off, let's say here you are and you brought in David, okay? Hallelujah. You brought in David. He's on your pro team. He went and he brought in 1,000 people directly. Whether or not those people duplicate or not is to be seen in the future. Hopefully they will. Okay. But even if they don't, even if they just have a deployed unit and they're earning helium, okay, on the first 5 people of David's pro team, you're earning 0. You're getting on 10 to 20% on David's personal unit, but those first 5 people of his pro team and the people that come off of his pro team, you earn 0. But what do you get in exchange for that? Is you are getting a 10 to 25% matching bonus of everybody else. The codes that David get off of this compensation plan for all 1,000 people, okay? From his 6 person on, he's earning codes. When I say codes, I mean the 5% bronze, silver, and gold codes. That is what you're matching. And so you get an unlimited number of codes. David's going to be earning codes on all those 1,000 people, not just the first 25. And that's why he's such a key person example of what you can have on your pro team, so that you're getting the codes on that. If it goes 3,000 wide, it would be the same thing. You're getting the matching bonus on whatever codes Dave earns on that. So I think that's what I want to cover on the compensation plan. It took me a good hour to cover all that information.